Hello everyone, hello Professor. My name is Mohammed Al-Wabani and today I'm going to present the individual project lessons learned presentation for our project. First of all, I want to let you know that I chose the project which is we did it with my group. So I'm gonna talk about the coffee shop and how to make a coffee shop or remodeling a coffee shop a project. So today, as my role as the project coordinator for this project, and I'm gonna report this presentation for Mr. Jimmy John, the Director of Project Management, and I'm gonna also present the lessons learned to all major stakeholders, including Mr. Louis Lowy, the COO, and today we're gonna talk about the pertinent element that should be included in the project lessons learned, and I'm gonna start. So let's start. I start this presentation with the scope for our project, and once we talk about the scope, we're gonna talk about the purpose. So the purpose of the scope elements. The aim is to clearly describe the project objectives and boundaries, and describing, let's say, outlining what is in and what out of the scope for the coffee shop opening project. And also we're going to talk about the background. The coffee shop opening project aims to transfer a damaged structure into a investment property that will generate consistent future revenue. So as you know, we put a budget of around $30,000 to $80,000 to gain let's say scope or manage this project. And additionally, it's in the background, it is intended to increase the value of the current property for potential rental purposes. Also, I'm going to talk about the inclusion and the exclusion criteria. So the inclusion criteria is the team will spend time in the space, conduct interviews with multiple contractors to gather input and ideas, and be specific about design ideas to ensure the comprehensive approach. Also, the exclusion criteria will be for this project will not involve removal or replacement anything for the project. Also, the last thing is what is the rationale for this scope is clearly defining the scope is critical to make sure the project team knows the project's boundaries and objectives. Also, the team will understand the boundaries and the objectives and will help in making informed decision and managing expectation of stakeholder, including the COO, Mr. Louis Lowy, and ensuring a successful project completion within the budget range. And we will also helps in avoiding scope creep. For the second, the next slide, we're gonna talk about the benefits for this project. So I put like four benefits for this project, and these benefits are going to be the first one is upgrading the appearance, and the second one will be personal satisfaction, and the third one will be increased property value, and the last one is improved functionality. So let me talk about each one of them, and one second please. So the upgrading the appearance. So the scope of the project include converting an unstable structure into a completely let's say remodeled investment coffee shop or property. So by clearly define the scope, the project team can ensure the appearance of the coffee shop is upgraded to meet the desired design concepts. This can enhance the overall aesthetic appeal of the coffee shop, attract customer, and create a positive impression in the market. And the second one is the personal certification. So personal certification is once we clearly defining the scope of the project that allows the team to work towards achieving the project objectives and goals within the defined boundaries, and this can lead also to a sense of personal satisfaction for the team members and knowing that they successfully delivered the outcomes of the project. The third one is increased property value. So once the coffee shop opening project aims to boost the value of the existing property for possible rental purposes, and by defining the scope of the project, the team can ensure that the planned project or the remodeled project adds value to the property. The last one is improved functionality. So the scope of the project may include making improvement and functionality for the coffee shop. By clearly defining the scope, the project team will be able to do that. So the rationale for this benefit is clearly defining this. Once we clearly define the scope of the project, which is essential to ensure the project team understand the project objective and boundaries, and this can help in making informed decision. Now let's go and talk about the presentation contents. And once we go, want to talk about the presentation contents, we're going to talk about the management department. So I make a table for you to, if you can, like make it easier to understand. So I start with the scope management, and the problem or the possible issue will be this scope creep. So the possible issue will be throughout the project's lifespan or life cycle. The stakeholders attempt to expand the scope of work on the regular basis. So what gonna do? What's the impact for this problem? So the procurement management did not have a plan in place to address the scope, which has resulted in some tasks being overlooked until. So this is the impact. Let's say that resulted in some tasks being overlooked until they were requested by stakeholders. This resulted in multi-week delay in our marketing strategy. What is the recommendation, or what we're gonna do, in my opinion, to success? So all purpose scope changes should be approved by the procurement management and communicated to all stakeholders. And now let's talk about the resource management. Once I'm talking about resource management, I'm talking about the HR, the human resource management. So the human resource management is what the problem will be the recognition and the appreciation. So the problem or the possible issue, there wasn't, like, if there's no established procedure for let's say set up and expressing appreciation for the team members, that gonna end maybe gonna end the project, or maybe gonna result a conflict or disagreement among the team members regarding and this is gonna delay our marketing strategies objects. The recommendation for that is in each project initiative or let's say level, procurement management should establish and communicate a formal recognition and appreciation plan for all the team members. Also, I'm going to talk about the procurement management. So the procurement management will have a problem or issue So the problem and issue for the procurement management is the contract requirement, and so the problem is the contract process did not allocate enough time for procurement management to thoroughly review all contract requirements. And what the possible impact for this problem is the initial contract award was exempt for a certain condition, and the contract change was necessarily and maybe adding additional days to the project timeline. The possible solution for this issue is all contract process should involve thorough participation from procurement management, and any potential change should be promptly communicated to both procurement management and the contract team. Also, maybe we can, the last thing we can talk about is the quality management. So the quality management the problem for the quality management will be the resource and materials, and the problem is the project involved the process for not included an evaluation process for the quality of building materials. So what is the impact? So the project team must calibrate closely all the time, or have to calibrate or ask with the contract workers to make sure that all materials every time used are of the acceptable quality and the standards, and that and they gonna do that for avoiding reworks or delays, but this is gonna cause delays. So in order to avoid this problem, or in order to avoid these delays and cost overruns, we have to apply a quality criteria and standard, and do the inspections all the time into the project plan, and at regular intervals or in like time. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is the presentation, and in the presentation content is the specific lessons learned I got and the takeaways. So the first lessons learned is the project management technique selection. So once we're gonna talk about that, I mean, like we have to know that it is important to carefully choose the appropriate project management methodology for each project, and we have to know what is the methodology is the best suited for the certain type of project, and the consideration should be given to the project's specific requirements and the team capabilities and the stakeholder expectations to ensure the chosen methodologies, let's say, align or gonna help with the project's needs and project's goals. The second lessons learned I got is the consistent communication. So I feel that maintaining a constantly in communication with team members and stakeholders is very important. This includes keeping them, both of them, informed about the options, adjustments, and any other relevant information throughout the project life cycle. So the regular communication makes that gonna make sure that everyone stays on the same page and on the same level, and it's gonna minimize the misunderstandings between all the team members in the project and promotes effective collaboration. The third lessons learned for this project is the sponsor involvement in scope planning. So I put this as a takeaway to because I feel that once we make the sponsor involved, that this is gonna avoid the scope difficulties, and once we involving sponsors in the scope planning process from the beginning, that's gonna help us a lot in the next levels. And sponsors should have a shared vision and actively participate and prevent sorry Yeah, sponsors should have a shared vision and actively participate in defining a project scope. Um, so this gonna help us also in aligning expectation and prevent the scope creep, which can lead to the project delays and budget overruns. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the goal monitoring. So, once I feel like this is very important and critical to regularly check on the project established goal and objectives, and make sure that the project is, let's say, going to evaluate progress. So tracking objectives and the milestones and that ensures that resources are, let's say, going effectively and efficiently, and regular monitoring, on my opinion, allows for timely adjustment if needed to keep the project on track and ensure a successful project completion. So by applying these lessons learned, the coffee shop opening project can improve its project management approach and mitigate tasks and enhance overall project success. These are my insights along with Mr. Lewis, and I hope in the future projects these lessons can contribute to being executed more effectively and efficiently in our project. Thank you so much, Professor, and have a nice day.